The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Bill Knapik, and we are on at a different time. If you're tuning in right now at 1 o'clock on Sunday, we're glad you're with us. Please stay with us. And also know if you want to hear us again, we will be on next week at our regular time and beyond at 5 o'clock on Sunday. So once again, thank you for tuning in. It's Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We talk about real estate, all the things that relate to the home, and today we have a fantastic show. So let's get started as we welcome Taylor Sarton. She is with a company called First Class Real Estate Elevate. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. I'm glad to be back.
Well, we are glad to have you back, and let's tell people, first of all, about your company.
So First Class Real Estate is a wonderful brokerage. We are all over the United States. The Elevate division is in Texas and Florida. My area is north of Houston. So we are widespread all over.
Well, and when we think about the areas that are outside the center of Houston, and you're saying northwest, it's like growing like crazy, isn't it, Taylor?
Crazy. It is insane to see, especially the commercial real estate division, just blow up north of Houston.
Well, give us an idea. As we talked before we started recording, you said just last month, the month of November, you had a pretty good month. Let's tell people a little bit about the activity that you were a part of.
Yeah, I had a great month in November. I sold quite a few houses, and it's crazy because most of them were in Kingwood. So Kingwood is also growing rapidly. A lot of people are going out that way. It's its own little town out there, and they just love it. And these houses were specifically on the lake, so a lot of people are going over to the lake.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, invite me to the housewarming parties.
There's no doubt. And that's one of the things, whether it's a lake, an ocean, a river, and those things, people just like being around water. It just does something when we go home and we have a nice scenery, even mountains and stuff like that. But it's nice to have good scenery when we're in our homes. Absolutely.
It sure is. And I think that was the one thing for especially one of my clients, that was their dream, just to be on the lake somewhere where their kids can grow up, their grandkids can grow up. So I'm really glad that we were able to get that achieved.
Well, also, especially for those listening, Taylor, outside of Houston, when you say northwest of Houston, there are other towns and cities that are around the northwest area. Let's tell people about them and those areas that you're helping people, buyers and sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually born and raised in the Woodlands, Texas. So I have been able to get outside of my bubble and explore all the other areas growing up. So I usually work anywhere. I mean, I'll come downtown, but usually north of Houston. So Spring, you have the Woodlands, you have Magnolia, which is booming, especially Old Town Magnolia is just growing rapidly. You go a little bit more north, you have Conroe and then Willis. We've definitely seen a lot more people going into Willis because it is growing quick.
And we have a Stewart Title office right there in Willis.
You sure do.
No doubt about it. You've probably been there one or two times.
Sure have.
It's a great office. Well, also, as far as real estate, at this point in time, are you helping more buyers or sellers?
Oh, man.
Or is it even?
I would say buyers more than sellers. I do attract a lot of relocation. So that just comes with, especially when they're out of state, I only get to help them on the buy side. But I love it because they're all moving to new areas that they have no idea what they're getting into. So I can help show them around to the most popular things where they're going. So I'd say buyers over sellers, but I have a few sellers out there.
And when you mention out of state, let's talk a little bit about the people you're helping. When you're helping someone from out of state, first of all, is there any state that you're serving more than others?
Oh.
What are you hearing about? California, we hear about a lot, but
yeah, but I would say for me, it's Georgia. I've had quite a few Georgia clients come in, and they all do different things, which is the crazy part. You have ICE attorneys I've helped, people coming into the oil and gas industry, people going into construction. It's very I don't know the word, just a lot of different people coming
Well,
over
it's
here.
good to hear about Georgia or something like that. But Georgia's a great place. Now, as far as people knowing about you from out of state in your marketing and as you're promoting yourself, certainly being on the radio is a great thing as well.
Absolutely.
But how do you promote yourself so that someone, say in Georgia or anywhere else, says, hey, I saw Taylor Sarton. I'm going to give her a call and find out about Houston real estate?
Yeah, I'm really big on social media. Facebook is my number one platform to get new clients. I have quite a decent following on there. And I feel like I post so much for the general public to feel very comfortable with who I am and what I do. So it opens up a door that if you're not on social media, people don't really feel like they personally know you and they're just picking up the phone and calling someone random. So I've capitalized a lot on Facebook in the years of real estate, and it's done me well.
And of course, most real estate professionals, whether they're realtors, brokers, mortgage people, they're on Facebook and the social media platforms, or some have their favorites, of course. But what do you think it takes? And let's take again, as you're mentioning Facebook, what is it, do you think, that you do on Facebook that helps you engage to get the attention of someone far away in another state or even across the city? What's your magic?
Consistency is the number one thing. I mean, as long as you're consistently posting, I feel like eventually your stuff's going to reach a new group of people that would have seen your stuff to begin with. Also talking about things that people feel they need to share, because once they share it, it goes with, 50 of their friends are going to see that one post that they shared about what you said. So making sure that it's information that people do want to share with others.
So when you're sharing information, is it always real estate, or do you blend in any personal items as well?
Yeah, I honestly do the least amount of real estate posting. I feel like people can get very overwhelmed very quickly when you're posting real estate back to back to back to back. So I think the number one thing with real estate is just posting success stories for your clients, not necessarily for yourself, because they don't want to hear that you showed them 50 houses and then you finally got the one. They want to hear about the process that it took to get to that point and what exactly those people were looking for and that one house you finally found for them. I put a lot of personal stuff out there, though. I will say that everybody who follows me on social media uses my Instagram and Facebook story as my open to business sign. Once they see that I left the gym that morning, so I will always post it. They're like, okay, we can call her now with all real estate needs. I post a lot of dog content and a lot of recipes because I love to bake and cook.
Dog content and recipes. You've had me right there. Let's talk recipes just for a second.
Yeah.
What kind of recipes get people's attention?
Anything with carbs, to be honest. I'll post a lot.
It is the season of carbs, I think.
It is. I do a lot of sourdough, but I haven't let out my recipe for my sourdough. It's a potato flake sourdough recipe, so it tastes like a sweet Hawaiian roll from the grocery store. Delicious. But I do a lot of desserts, chicken wings, biscuits, just really good home food.
What about chocolate chip cookies?
Oh, of course I have chocolate chip
staple,
cookies. They're made with brown butter, so they're quite sweeter than just your normal chocolate chip cookie, but they are delicious.
All right, sounding good to me. What about dogs? What do you think people want to know about dogs? You must have dogs.
I have 3 dogs.
Okay.
I have 2 Vizslas, which are the cousins to the Weimaraners. Very intelligent, smart dogs, bird dogs. And then I have a golden retriever. She turns a year old on Christmas Day. She's a hoot. So I feel like people usually like to see funny things that they do, like just funny ways that they're sleeping. I'll snap a picture and then post it on my Facebook. Or if we're out walking and they do something crazy, like pull me in all different directions, then I'll take a video of it because people find humor in it.
You know, one of the things I have one dog, and one of the things I like is when he's sleeping and he dreams. Sometimes, do you ever watch your dogs when they're dreaming? They make weird sounds.
Oh, yes. And I kind of feel bad sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare.
It might be a bad dream, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So I usually try to wake them up, but it's quite funny.
Meanwhile, back to real estate. In the meantime, as far as real estate goes, what is it that keeps you passionate, and why are you in the real estate profession to begin with? What drew you in?
So I have a crazy backstory, but long story short, I started college at the fresh age of 15 years old. And I got my bachelor's degree at 18, wanted to go straight into law school, but I didn't feel like I was setting myself up for success with doing that at such a young age. Not much street smarts there, just a lot of book smarts. And so I said, if I'm going to go into anything, it's going to be real estate because it's contract related. We're not attorneys. We cannot practice as attorneys, but it gives you a lot of insight into what they do and how to read a contract and execute contracts. So I will be starting law school this upcoming fall, but I really think that was the number one driving reason. I thought it was going to set me up for great amounts of success, and I believe that it did that.
And as you prepare in all the activities and parts of your lives, dogs, recipes, real estate, investors, helping investors as well, when you're preparing for 2025, do you have a plan? And how do you put your plan together to be successful for the new year, which is upon us?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I go back through the year prior, usually around the November, December time, and I see what I did and how I could have improved that. And I try to implement a bunch of challenges for myself, like small challenges with small goals, because eventually all those small goals are going to add up throughout the year. So if I just go back and I review what I did, tweak it a little bit, because each year gets better, or should be getting better, and I just tweak it, implement it, then I feel like I'll set myself up for success in 2025. I just honestly plan to keep doing the same thing, touch, all the waters of real estate, buyers, sellers, investors, tenants, all of it. And then, just move forward and keep pushing through.
We're talking with Taylor Sarton. She is with First Class Real Estate Elevate. Well, Taylor, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
If you want to buy, sell, lease, or invest, feel free to give me a call. Even if you are interested in possibly investing but don't know where to start, I would be happy to guide you. Same with rentals. The rental market can be absolutely overwhelming, to say the least, right now. So if you need any guidance, I'm here for you. My phone number, like Bill said, is 713-302-9764. And if you need anything at all, just give me a call. 713-302-9764.
Thanks for being with us, Taylor.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As we continue, let's talk to Ali Galan. He is with American Property Tax Service, and he is also known as the property tax superhero. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you again for having me.
And you know why you're the American property tax superhero?
Why is that?
Because I put that forth years ago, and it still reigns.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very humbled by that.
So in the meantime, taxes are such a big part of everybody's home, commercial, and all that. But first, let's tell people about the company and what you guys are doing.
Well, our company is in Stafford, Texas. The name is American Property Tax Service. We've been around since 1981. We handle industrial, commercial, residential, and business personal property.
And as far as taxes, Ali, the first thing I would say is, as I look and talk real estate here every week, it seems like we're known, first of all, Houston is known for higher property taxes than other places, so to speak. But also, when we look at property taxes, as I've looked at them, Montgomery County, there might be a little bit lower, but they range anywhere from 1.7 to over 3% for our home property taxes. Give us an idea, are there so many rates, and how can we make sure we're at a low rate?
Okay, so the rates depend on the geographic location of your home. So if you live in Fort Bend County, of course, you're going to be zoned to Fort Bend ISD, and you're going to be taxed based on Fort Bend ISD's tax rate. If you live in Harris County, there's several different school districts in Harris County. Let's start with the most popular one, which is HISD, and then Spring Branch ISD. So all these different school districts make up the heaviest portion of your property tax percentage. Then you have city tax, then you have county tax, and then the big kicker here for the ones I heard earlier, North Houston and the newer suburbs that go all around, is mud tax and lid tax. And nobody seems to know what those are. I ask people all the time, are you aware of what a mud tax is or a lid tax is? Well, lid tax is very simple. You live close to a river or you live close to a big body of water, and it's a levee improvement district.
LID.
LID, that's correct. And that tax never goes away because they are constantly maintaining all the levees that protect your home from a flood. And then we have the mud tax. Mud tax is made primarily for developers that want to build neighborhoods but don't have the money to dig out the streets and give utilities, water, electricity, gas, so on and so forth. So they ask the city to come do that. The city comes and draws up the roads, cuts all the lots out, gives water, electricity, gas to each one of them, but then there's a loan now the city puts out to that neighborhood. And how is that paid back? With a percentage on your property tax. So the house price may be very competitive. The price of the home may be very competitive, but then the MUD tax is very high. But the good thing about the MUD tax is there'll come a point where that entire loan is paid off, and they call it switching to city services. Okay, well, you've never been disconnected from city services. Now you just have been. Now you've just eliminated the MUD tax because that loan for digging all the streets and paying for all those electricity, gas, and water hookups, that's been paid now. A good example of that is Greatwood in Sugar Land, Texas. They are now part of the city of Sugar Land. They don't have a MUD tax anymore. They just got done paying off the loan. So when that happens, the tax rate goes down. What happens to the value of the property, Bill?
It keeps going up.
It goes up big time because now people can afford a little bit higher of a monthly payment based on the taxes, because a lot of people like to escrow their taxes into their mortgage. And now you're talking about a whole percentage point being reduced from their property tax, which adds up quick.
So it sounds like everything influences where our home is at, how it was developed. Everything seems to be influencing property tax.
First three rules of real estate: location, location, location.
So as far as 2025, we look ahead. What can we do as homeowners? Let's take the homeowner right now. What can we do to make sure that we pay the right amount of property tax and not more than we need to?
Okay, so first and foremost, the very first thing you should do is becoming a homeowner is immediately file your homestead exemption. That's 20% right off the top of your taxes. Now that can be filed either in person, online, or by snail mail, regular U.S. Postal Service, which I do not, and I'm telling you again, do not send anything in snail mail. You're putting your personal information in the mail, and 9 times out of 10, my mail gets lost. So I'd like to deliver things to the county in person, get a date stamp, or apply for it online, which you'll get a confirmation email saying everything has been submitted successfully, and then they'll email you back when everything has been approved, which is really good. The second thing you can do is if you're not happy with your property valuation, you can always protest, right? So when you protest, you have a right to go and fight the value of your home. Now, a lot of people are, again, new to Houston and new to the rules and procedures and what we have to go through. So that particular deadline is May 15th or 30 days after you receive your notice. That notice comes in the mail. You see your value. It's $500,000, and you're like, I don't agree with that. So you file a protest. Well, I just bought my home for $400,000. What do I do? Well, you file your protest. Again, that can be filed online, in person, or with snail mail. Again, I do not recommend snail mail. Once you protest it, you're given a hearing date. You walk in, and acceptable pieces of evidence for a hearing would be basically closing statement showing your recent purchase price, and hopefully there was a real estate agent involved and the commissions were paid. That means it was an open market transaction. It wasn't under the table. They accept that. And then comparable sales. Let's say you've lived in your house for 10 years and you've noticed a trend of all the values going down. So you start, bringing up recent sales that, hey, these houses aren't selling for, $500,000. Another piece of evidence is condition pictures. Now, they like condition pictures, but they also need some estimates to basically cost to cure these. And they want to know your home's condition as of January 1, not as of January 10th, not as of July the previous year. January 1, what condition was your house in? That is the appraisal date. Now, when you do go into your hearing, I give you 3 things to live by. Just be polite, courteous, and brief. You don't want to talk too much, and you don't want to talk too little. You don't want to be rude, and you don't want to be super proud. A lot of people take emotion to the table over there, gets out of control, and they walk out getting a no change, and that's not what anyone wants. If you don't get what you want, there is another avenue. It's called binding arbitration. It's very fast. It's $500 out of your pocket. The county has to put up $500, and then you try to settle with an arbitrator, which is usually a real estate agent. But before that, there is a 45-day grace period where the county can quickly call you up and quickly try to settle before the arbitrator gets involved. If you're successful with that, you will get $450 of your money refunded back to you and awarded the value that the county gave you. Now, if you still don't have a meeting of the minds and it goes to an arbitrator, The only time you will get your $450 back is when the arbitrator is closer to your value than the county's value. So to wrap things up, your taxes are due January 31st, 2025 for the previous year. 2024 tax, we're still in 2024, and your taxes are going to be due January 31st of 2025. If you want to claim your property taxes on your income tax for this year, please make full or partial payment before the 31st of December. That way you can claim it on your income tax and get another, you're up to $10,000 with the new income tax rule is acceptable for property tax.
And when you started out, Ali, one of the things you said is the homestead exemption. Now, those of us that have lived in Houston like me for a long time, we know about that. But we had so many people have moved to Houston in the last 2-3 years. There's some right now listening to the show moving, arriving. So a lot of people don't know about that homestead exemption. So that's a good thing. And also tell people about the other exemptions. Like, I think when you're a certain age, you have there's that. I hope I get there someday.
Sure.
But there's an age exemption, and there's a few other things.
There's an over 65 exemption, which is a great help to senior citizens. That's a much more richer exemption. There's I believe a $280,000 threshold where up to $280,000 is not taxable. So if you live in a $300,000 house, literally you can pay no county tax, no city tax, but you are responsible for the school tax. But the school tax is frozen at whenever you turn 65. It can only go down. It can't go back up. It can only go back down.
Okay, so especially for those that have moved here into Houston that are 65 or older, so they get both exemptions. They can get a homestead exemption
plus the over 65.
And
that's correct.
The over 65.
Yes, they are
that's
bundled together. Yes, and on top of everything else, Harris County is mainly our biggest county here in Houston. Then I would say Fort Bend. Then I would say Montgomery, Brazoria, and all respectfully following after. But Harris County, if you go to the App Store if you have an iPhone, or what's the other thing for Android people? What's the Android store? I don't know. Who has an Android? If you have an Android,
my son has an Android.
Just
and I don't understand.
Roll your window down and throw the phone out and get yourself an Apple. Anyway, just go to the App Store, go type in HCAD. Now, an application will come up, and it's as simple as taking a picture of your driver's license and putting in your address, and your homestead is like almost immediately approved.
Awesome. Well, Ali, before we close, boy, the time flies when we start talking taxes.
That's right.
And I don't know why my son has an Android. I've talked to him about it, but that's another story.
No one's perfect.
Exactly. In the meantime, let's tell people how they can reach you, because you're helping primarily people that own commercial properties and things like that. But you know the answers, and you know where to send people when they need help. Let's tell people how to reach you, Ali Galan, American Property Tax Service.
Well, I've got a couple of ways. I'll give you the fastest. My Instagram handle is ALIG_HTX. And then my cell phone is 713-985-9972. I do take all calls. It's easier to text me, but I will get to you as soon as possible.
Phone number again is?
Phone number again is 713-985-9972.
Thank you, Ali Galan. Let's talk to Chris Garza. She is with McCallum Realty. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Chris, let's tell people your company is called McCallum Realty. Let's tell them about your company.
Sure. So we're located in Town Lake in the beautiful Cypress, Texas. And we pretty much do anything from commercial to residential, buyers, sellers, lease, whatever you're looking for, investment, we got you.
Well, and especially those listening outside of our Houston area, and even those that might be here in the Loop near our station and things, Town Lake is really a beautiful little area in Cypress, Texas, which is growing quite a bit and has grown.
Crazy. The growth is just, I can't even explain it. So much so that, we just got a huge new HEB in Bridgeland right behind us. And thank goodness, because we have kind of outgrown our area, to be honest. It's needed with all the new construction and everything going on out there.
And you mentioned this HEB. I'm curious, is it open now?
Yes, it just opened.
I was wondering about that because about, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, someone mentioned it on the show, and I'm a big HEB fan. I love I can't wait to see a new one with
It's nice.
all the bells and whistles.
It's beautiful.
And they say it's also a large one.
Yes, it has a barbecue restaurant. I mean, it has seafood area that you can purchase seafood. It's got all the things. So it's spacious, and it's great for our area with the amount of people and volume that we have.
Well, and when we think of the relationship of commercial real estate to residential, that's just a sign where HEB is, where they put up one of their flagship stores. You know that it is a very big, exciting area that's growing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of the neighborhoods out there with walking trails. I mean, it's just beautiful. And a lot of people want to, get out of the city. And, I moved there. I grew up on the east side of Houston, but I moved there 18 years ago. And it just used to be a lot of cow pastures, basically. And now it's crazy to drive through and be like, that wasn't there 18 years ago. But we raised our kids out there and absolutely love Cypress. It's a great place to live.
So here you are every day helping buyers and sellers. Now, at this moment, as you're with the buyers and sellers, what are you doing more of, or is it an even situation?
I'm really more of an even situation, but I have found myself with a lot of listings lately, so that's been really great.
Now, do you have any listings in Cypress right now?
I don't currently right now.
Where geographically, where are they at?
So right now I have one in Short Acres. I have some land out there, but I just literally closed almost all of my listings. I have one located in Galena Park area, which is near where I grew up. It's a really nice little neighborhood. So I have that one right now currently, but I'm working with some buyers.
Well, as far as let's take the listing appointment, so to speak, or presentation. Right now, if you're listing a property, wherever it may be, doesn't matter. But when you're listing at this point in time, how do you coach the seller? If I had a home and I said, well, Chris, I want to sell my home, how are you advising the seller? And let's say I have a nice home, curb appeal, and I'm in a, quote, good location. How do you prepare me for the adventure?
Well, the first thing I do with my sellers is I sit down and I kind of just find out exactly why they're selling, because I know that kind of helps me guide them in the right direction too. But being on top of the ever-changing market currently is so important. Knowing what's going on, doing your research, letting them know what the days on the market looks like, kind of where we should start, what we should do, how we should market, and just guiding them. And of course, your clients are going to have the things that are most important to them, I should say. So I always ask them that. What's most important to you? So I can try to make sure that I'm going along the same line of what they're looking for in the process of selling their home.
And it is exciting to see when a home is listed. Like even in my neighborhood, they put a few homes away from me on the market. It went under contract in a few days, and then it went off of the contract. Now it's back on. But still, in short order, assuming this goes through, the home will be sold rather quickly.
Right.
So you never know.
Exactly. I mean, we're seeing it all over the board right now. It's not really a normal market as what I've seen in the past 8 years that I've been in the business. And every area is different. It's just really what the buyers are looking for. And right now, buyers have a little more inventory to choose from, which makes it really nice. But some people are a little leery with, obviously the interest rates being a little bit higher than normal to most people, because they might not have lived when I did, when interest rates were really high, when I bought my first home in 1996. And so I think that it's just really educating people. That's one of the things that I love about real estate, is being able to educate the sellers on things and our buyers on things that they may not know, because they don't do this every day.
And that you're already answering some of what I was going to ask, and that is flipping it around. If I'm a buyer and I say, Chris, hey, I want to buy a house near the town lake boardwalk or in the general area, how are you coaching the buyer right now in terms of what's available, and certainly a pre-owned home, and then are there new homes right now in say that area, in the Cypress area?
So our area is really still popping. That's the best word I can use.
Like a popcorn, like a microwave popcorn.
They put it on the market, and especially in I live in Cypress Creek Lakes, and a home with a pool or things like that that's popping up. I mean, they're gone so quickly. It's selling really fast. So when I have a buyer in a situation like that, we just have to be very vigilant. Go out, do our research ahead of time, go look at that property so we can be ready to make that offer immediately, because it is moving a little quicker over there.
And I'm glad you mentioned the pool. For a while on the show, and I say a while, 8 months to a year ago, I remember realtors were saying, well, if it has a pool, it's going to sell real quick. Is that still the case?
In our area, it really is a trend. It really is something. And I feel like since COVID, a lot more people are wanting to have that pool, that backyard oasis. I know, that was great for our family, having that in our backyard. And I find more clients looking for that and looking for the home office situation. So, and a lot of the homes over there have that to offer.
That's awesome. So as far as when you plan for this new year, you've had a good 2024, and you're saying, okay, here it is, 2025. Are there things you're going to be doing different, or how are you going to be marketing and getting out there next year? How do you make a plan?
I mainly work on referral-based business. I've never really advertised my business in any way, and it's done well for me. I have great clients, but that is something that I've thought about expanding. So I have been sitting down, kind of looking at that and what that might look like in 2025 for me. And I think it's just the exposure, getting myself a little more out there in the social media aspect. I just recently hired my daughter. She's staying home with her baby. She's a teacher, and I hired her to do my social media. And so she's kind of getting me to go outside of my comfort zone. And I've noticed that by posting those TikToks that I never wanted to do,
But you're doing that now.
I am doing it.
Okay.
I am attracting more people in a different age group. And so I think that's been really nice. And I love that. I love working with first-time home buyers and coaching them, especially young people. It's so great to see them out there taking this big step into home ownership.
Well, someone told me that as a real estate professional, as you are out there helping a buyer or seller, that you might have a little extra insight into the workings of the AC system and heating systems, which I would call life support here in Houston, Texas. Is that true?
Absolutely. So my husband and I have owned an air conditioning company for 20 years, and that had afforded me to be able to be home with our children while they were growing and still work. So we built that business together, and I have a lot of knowledge that I bring to the table when I'm looking at a home prior to a home inspection. There's a lot of things that I can say, well, this AC unit has older Freon, this is what's going to happen, so that I can prepare my buyer for things that are going to cost them a lot of money to replace, because sellers aren't going to just replace it if it's working, right? So just preparing them for those big heartaches sometimes that come about with owning a home, right? You've got things you got to take care of. And so I feel like my buyers appreciate that. But also, I have had an AC unit go out on the day of a closing, and my wonderful husband came to the rescue, put the capacitor in, and we could close. And so I couldn't have gotten an AC company out that quickly. So that does set me above, in that way, because I have that in my pocket, and it's great. He always helps me. He wasn't happy about it at the moment. He was busy. It was summer, but he made it happen.
Well, I understand your husband's name is Mario.
Yes.
And he's a regular listener to the show, right?
Yes.
And the company that he is running is called?
ACS of Texas.
So there you go. A good, honest company, ACS of Texas. In fact, next time I need help, I'll probably give them a call, because I know I have an upstairs and downstairs.
Yep.
One of my units needs a little help.
That's always how it is,
It's
especially
awesome.
in this heat.
In this heat, there's no doubt, it is life support. What else do you want people to know about what you're doing, and what's your outlook? Are you excited about 2025?
I am excited about 2025, and I just want, people to know that I am here to help you, to guide you, to give you the good and the bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, and we're going to work together to make it happen.
We're talking with Chris Garza. The company is McCallum Real Estate. Well, Chris, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Well, you can reach me at 281-543-5600. 281-543-5610 or Cassandra Garza, Texas Realtor on Instagram, 281-543-5610.
You can help them with a good AC recommendation, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us, Chris.
Thank you.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett.
Bill, always a pleasure.
Well, here we are, John. Awesome information every show. And here we are at a different hour at the time of broadcast, we're told, at 1 o'clock. So we have hopefully some new listeners and some new friends we're going to make.
Absolutely. Much fresher today at 1 o'clock versus our normal time.
Yeah, I'm wider awake.
Wider awake, yes.
People await every week to hear about insurance.
Well, a bit of a warning today. A bit of a warning that while we're all enjoying the holiday season, and we should enjoy the holiday season, we tend to see an increase in cyber activity during the holidays, that people are busy. They're busy with work, wrapping up the year. They're busy getting ready for their different family celebrations. So they've got a lot going on and may not be quite as diligent in keeping an eye out for those bad actors that are on, that are trying to infiltrate our computers and our email systems and our phones. So just kind of wanted to give people some thoughts about what to keep in mind.
That's right. The cyber criminals never rest.
They don't, but this is an active time that they have. There's going to be an increase in phishing emails. So where they're throwing out some sort of information, asking for information, or wanting you to hit an attachment and open that attachment up. So if you provide them that information, now they can start to pretend to be you. And if you provide them that attachment, then they can have access to your system. I almost fell victim to it a couple of weeks ago on a text. I had some packages ordered from Amazon, and I got a text saying that there was an issue in the delivery from the United States Postal Service. So, would you please provide us this information? And sometimes Amazon will give a package to USPS to deliver. So I'm about halfway through, and I'm going, wait a minute. I just got a notification from Amazon that stuff was on its way or it was going to be delivered this date. So I went back and looked and realized that that's exactly what it was, that they were trying to get my personal information, and they came close, but I was able to stop it and then block it beforehand. So it's just a matter of really just taking a breath, and not just jumping on it right away and making sure that, hey, is this legit? And if I'm not sure, let me find out if it is.
Well, the one I get a lot is the one that says, I already bought something, and the amount is always lower than $500, like $459, $364. Mm-hmm. But I'm buying all these things that I didn't know about. So I don't respond to them, but I always check my credit card statements just to make sure that something didn't slip through.
Well, and that's a smart way to do it, but also check your credit card statements using the contact information in either the agreement or going to their website. Don't use the contact information that's in that email or in that text, because generally speaking, that's going to be part of the fraudster's program. So if you were to call a number on that email or that text, it would be somebody on the fraudster's team saying, yes, that's legit. Or if you responded, you would get the same thing. So go to that original source of where the contact information is, or go to their website to be able to confirm that information. Have a strong password. It can't be, your children's birth dates or, the middle name of your children.
Real Estate Matters?
Real Estate Matters, Real Estate Matters Knapik would not be a good password. But no, have a strong password. Use a password manager if you can. With all of your accounts, have multifaceted authentication so that if you are signing in, that you've got to provide a secondary confirmation of it truly is you. And that can be something as simple as, what was your best friend's first name growing up, to we're going to text you a code to put into the system. So just having that multifaceted authentication can really be important. Be careful about public Wi-Fi. If you're going to use public Wi-Fi, then what are you transmitting? What are you sharing? Be careful about that. Update your software. If you get a software update notification, update the software, because they're adding patches and updates that are going to help protect from these bad actors. As part of your business, make sure your employees are trained so they understand what to look for, that they understand what a phishing email might look like, or what a spear phishing email might work like, or the fact that if you do connect to or go to an attachment that somebody gets access to, now they could hold your whole system for ransom. And now they're expecting you to pay them a certain amount of money to release that information, and you never know whether you're going to get that information back or not. So just making sure that you have those processes and procedures in place, that if something does happen, that this is what we do in order to minimize anything additional, could happen. So that's always important. And then the last, if you're a real estate business or any business, but in this case specifically a real estate business, have some good cyber coverage.
And where can they get good cyber coverage, John?
I would call Stewart Insurance, Bill.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I would call Stewart Insurance.
And people, especially as we might be making new friends here today, people may not know, right here in Houston, Texas, Stewart Insurance, you're here to help people, individuals, real estate brokers, and not just here in Houston, but if someone might be listening, we mentioned Georgia earlier on. They could be in Georgia. You can help them with their insurance needs, Georgia, California. It doesn't matter. You're there serving people all over the United States.
Well, we're part of the Stewart family. As an independent property and casualty broker, we have access to a variety of different companies. So if we're helping individuals with their home, wind, auto, flood, motorcycle, watercraft, investment properties, we have a variety of companies that we work with to build the best plan possible. And the same on the business side. So working with real estate brokers, realtors, property management firms, independent title and attorney agencies, the same thing, helping them with their errors and omissions, cyber liability, professional liability, lawyers' liability policies, cyber liability, general liability policies.
So many things, but you're there. StewartInsurance.com is the website. They could see all the offerings right there.
And as you said, and I appreciate you mentioning that, we do have clients all over the U.S. So while we're very happy to work with our neighbors here in the greater Houston area, we do have clients, both families as well as businesses, all over the U.S.
Interesting, too, as we talked about property taxes, insurance, these are things that are so important as it relates to home ownership.
Well, absolutely. You want to be working with an advisor that's going to take the time to make sure that you understand what coverage you have to have. Buying that first home, that the premium may be critical, and that you may need to have a lower premium to get that first loan to purchase that first home. And that's understandable. We get worried as people don't understand what they do and don't have from a coverage perspective. And as long as you understand what you have from a coverage perspective, there's not going to be an issue. Where people get issues is they assume, since I have home insurance, that everything is covered. And that's not always the case. So not all plans are the same. Not all plans cover the same things, and not all plans cover the same things at the same level. So again, working with an insurance advisor that can walk you through that to make sure that whatever you have covered at that point, you're comfortable with, and in our eyes, you're properly insured.
Let's tell people how they can reach you and your company at Stewart Insurance.
They can call us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You mentioned a great website that we have, stewartinsurance.com, and they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
John, I have a feeling there's someone right now in Sioux Falls, South Dakota that needs to hear the number again.
That number is 866-798-2827.
Thank you so much. John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Bill, always a pleasure.
I say it all the time, at least on many shows, and that is to stay close to your Stewart Title business development people. They are all over Houston, covering the area in a tremendous way, in addition throughout the United States, and we are fortunate to have several here today. Hope Moy is here. Hope, welcome to the show, and let's tell people the two offices that you serve.
I serve in Montgomery County, so I'm in two offices, one in Conroe and one in Magnolia. So my Magnolia office is off of 1488 and 2978, which has massive, massive construction right now. So I know all the ways to get to my office really fast.
Helicopter?
Helicopter.
That's
and I
quickest.
can land you right in my parking lot, or better yet, on the roof. And then in Conroe, off of 336 and 105.
Well, and that's one of the things, as we talk about the areas, these little towns or cities, and they're not so little really. When you mentioned Magnolia, I had the opportunity to go through Magnolia. There's a lot of construction, And then there was one stretch where there were like 5, including, we talked HEB. There was a new HEB, but there were like 4 other brand new, a Mr. Carl, all these new things. It's growing, to say the least.
It is crazy growing. And as the further down 1488 into the Magnolia West, Magnolia proper area, there's lots of new development. There's new commercial popping up all around the high school and beyond. So lots of new stuff coming.
What do you think draws people specifically to Magnolia?
I would say maybe the separation of the commercial piece, your shopping, versus maybe living on something that's larger than just a lot. You can get half acre to acre lots. So maybe wanting some space, but close to shopping.
Well, you said it right there. So you could have the space, and then yet you could be near the many businesses, which are restaurants and the stores and things like that.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of unique, where you might not have that here in the center of town.
Correct.
Unless you live in River Oaks, maybe.
I mean,
where you got a couple acres, right? But there's that. In the meantime, Hope, you're doing tremendous work helping real estate professionals. Let's tell people some of the things you have going and how they can reach you should they want to bring their contracts right there to your offices.
So I work with 5 escrow officers, 3 in my Magnolia office and 2 in Conroe. I have Kelly Ernst, who is my branch manager in Magnolia, alongside Courtney Minga and Robin Mays. And in Conroe, I have Michelle Taylor, who is my branch manager, alongside Marla Wells. So I'm here to be of value to you, to be a partner with you, to help you grow your business. So moving forward, if that is something that I can help you do, please give me a call. I'm always happy to help. My number is 346-224-1908. Again, it's 346-224-1908.
And thanks for being with us, Hope Moy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill.
And now another growing, a fantastic area. We've already talked about the Cypress Boardwalk, the town lake, and now with Stewart Title, Kim Dawkins is here. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Well, here we are. We talk about activity and excitement real estate-wise. That's Cypress, where you're at and where we have a fantastic office. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a great area. As you guys know, we are, moving and grooving out there. There's just a lot moving out to the Cypress and Waller and Hockley areas. So we're just really busy in our office. And we are, by the way, located at Skinner Road and 290, so deep in the heart of Cypress.
Deep in the heart of 290. And you talk about a road that is well-traveled, easy to get on and off to go to Stewart Title. It's right there.
Spring Cypress is the main exit off of 290 to get to our office.
And you're doing tremendous things right there as you're helping. You have classes, but your escrow team, let's tell people just a little bit about some of the escrow officers you have there. I think you have one, Sharon, that may have the most longevity, but...
Yeah, Sharon Bristow has been with our company with Stewart for 40 years.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, it's crazy. She's our office manager, super knowledgeable, and she's just an amazing person. Marby Phillips is our bilingual Spanish-speaking escrow officer. She's been with Stewart for, I think, 22 years now, her whole career. And then April Collier, she was our office manager at our Champions office for a long time, and now she's been with us for a couple years at the Cypress office. And then Crystal Goldie has been in the business also for 20-something years. So lots of knowledge.
Well, and when we think about the longevity, what that means to someone closing at Stewart Title is that when it's time to close your next house, they're there for you. There's a comfort factor. But in addition, I know when I sold a home not that long ago, there was a problem. I didn't close at the time. I didn't work at Stewart at the time. So I had to find a title company that wasn't there anymore. Well, Stewart Title, we're going to be there. And the beauty is when you have that longevity, if there's a question, you can go back and get an answer real quick with Stewart Title.
Absolutely. I always tell people, if you closed with us 20 years ago, chances are we're going to be able to pull something out of that file and find the information you need. Or if you close with us today and you need something 25, 30 years from now, we'll be able to find that information, when the time happens.
People right now, Kim, want to bring their contracts to Cypress, Texas, those in the area. I know they do. I can feel it. Let's tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, my phone number is 713-203-8640. 713-203-8640.
Thanks for being with us. It's good to see you again. And now she is back. Taylor Sarton, First Class Real Estate Elevate. Well, Taylor, it's time to elevate once again as we
Sure is.
as we wind up the show. What else do you want people to know about what you're doing out there?
Oh, follow me on social media. I post so much stuff on there. I mean, if you need recipes, cute dog pics, outfit ideas, what houses to buy and where to buy them.
Outfit ideas.
Yes, I always post my outfit of the day. Everybody needs to know what you're wearing. Everybody wants to shop.
See, right now, people driving around are making a mental note. They're going to say, what is the outfit of the day? How do they find that out?
They just watch my stories. I will tell you where I buy everything and exactly how I style it. So my social media handles across the board are Realtor Taylor Sarton. Super
Realtor
easy.
Taylor Sarton.
It's 713-302-9764.
And I'm going to guess you're going to be doing a little baking over the holidays.
Oh, absolutely. I already started.
Let the carbs flow.
Let them flow.
The phone number again is?
713-302-9764.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see you again.
Good to see you again.
He is back. Let's talk taxes briefly for a second. Ali Galan, American Property Tax Service. Ali, here we are. What a fantastic show. Great information. What do you want to tell people before we close down?
Well, first of all, I'm humbled by the all-star cast that you guys always bring to the show, and I really enjoy being part of it. I learn a lot, and I hope I've given a couple of anecdotes of good information, because at the end of the day, it's about how many dollars you can keep in your back pocket.
We want to save money. We want to pay the right amount of tax, just like with federal income tax and even state for those in other places that have the state. We want to pay our taxes and reap the benefits of the work that the government is doing.
It's called paying your fair share.
Paying our fair share. Well, Ali, let's tell people how they can reach you once again at American Property Tax Service.
Sure. My phone number is 713-985-9972, and my Instagram is at ALIG_HTX.
And what if they want to see the outfit of the day? Wrong.
Well, they need to go to Taylor's page. I think
okay.
713-985-9972.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you again. And now, Chris Garza, McCallum Real Estate. Well, Chris, here we are.
The other thing I didn't mention, something near and dear to my heart, is veterans. That is, my father is a disabled veteran, so I take working with veterans to heart. I love working with veterans. I've done a lot of veteran deals, so that was one thing that I did forget.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because as we just finished Thanksgiving, we're so thankful for those that are putting their lives on the line every day and that have through the ages of the United States of America. So for a special Thanksgiving wish to those that are veterans and those that are serving in the police, all those points, firemen, all those things. Absolutely. We couldn't do it without. We couldn't have lives like we do with the quality we do without their efforts and service.
I agree. And I think it's, a special little niche, and I love, it's one of my favorite things to do. So
no doubt about it. Chris Garza. And also, let's remind people, the air conditioning company, people want good, honest, quality AC service and heater service. They could call your husband, right?
Absolutely.
At ACS of Texas.
Yes. Mario.
What's the phone number there?
281-543-4704.
And your phone number is?
My phone number is 281-543-5610.
Thank you, Chris Garza. And thank you,
you,
Mario, if you're out there listening. In the meantime, thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, here at Stewart Title, together with John Bramlett at Stewart Insurance, and all of us are fine business development people all over this Houston area and even beyond. Yes, we're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. We appreciate you listening. And again, if you're that 1 o'clock listener, check us out next week at 5 o'clock on Sunday. And of course, go to stewart.com/radio. That's where you can hear and see all these shows at stewart.com/radio, where the show archives reside. We'll see you next week, and thank you for listening.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.